Welcome to Sales and Marketing Talk Show. Today I have Neil Patel joining me and we are discussing on how to get more traffic from Google. And if you don't know Neil already, Neil is a CEO founder of Neil Patel Digital, New York Times best-selling author, top 100 entrepreneur under 30 by Obama, and top 10 marketer by Forbes. So super great to have you on the show. Welcome, Neil. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Great. And I think the topic for today is super interesting. So SEO, search engine optimization. And actually what we could start with, I noticed that you had a video on your Twitter about like SEO explained in 60 seconds. And I really love that one. So could you give like a short intro to a subject? What is SEO?
Sure. So let's break down SEO. There's three main components of SEO. So SEO is also known as search engine optimization. Anytime you search on Google, at the top there's a paid listings, and the bottom is a free listings. The top paid listings you usually say advertisements or sponsored. The free listings is called SEO. That's how you get placed there. And SEO has three main components. The first is your code. Can Google actually crawl your code and understand your website? Because if they can't crawl it, because it's a robot, then you're not going to rank. The second is content. If you have content on dog food, they know your website's around dog food. If you have content around bikes, they know your website's around bikes. If you have content around sales and marketing, they know your website's around sales and marketing. The better your content and the more content you have, more likely that you're going to get traffic from people searching for articles related to that. The third thing is links. Links are like votes on the internet. The more people linking to you, it tells Google, hey, I'm voting for this website. It should rank higher, but not all links are equal. A link from a New York Times is better than a link from Neil Patel. Just like in the real world, if you're running for president, a vote from Obama, the former president, or Bill Clinton or George Bush holds some weight. So you want links that are relevant and authoritative.
Great. I think that was super super good and like easy way to explain SEO. But why have you been like super interested in SEO? Is it because of the like companies that you are building in the past and you've noticed that hey this is really working? People are going to Google and finding some solutions for their problem, and you have been able to grow your company through that one. Or what got you like excited about SEO in the first place back in the days?
When I was 16, I started my first business and I didn't have money to spend on paid ads. SEO was a way where the small guy can get results and generate revenue without having, tons and tons of cash. That's what got me excited. And you know what? Majority of the people click on the free SEO listings than they do on the paid listings. So I thought it was a way to build a big company without needing a ton of capital.
Yeah, and it works. So
It
it's
works. It
great.
works really
Yeah.
well, but you have to be patient. It doesn't work well in 3 months or 6 months. You give it a few years, you can do really well, but you have to be patient. That's the biggest thing that most people don't have.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like one thing that has happened regarding on content is the fact that like many companies have really like realized the value of the content. And if we go, for example, back 10 years or 20 years, there wasn't like that much competition that there is today. And there still is the saying that content is the king. But what do you think? What are like the main things you should be focusing now, since there's like so much blog posts, so many articles, so many podcasts out there, so many webinars? Like there is like more content that anyone can like really go through.
There is I forgot the exact number of blogs, but I do know there's over 1 billion blogs. And if you just do the rough math, that's roughly one blog for every 7 people in this world. Do we really need that many blogs? Now, the amount of content that these blogs are producing is ridiculous. So there's more content than people need to read. And then when you search for something, like I'm going to search for something right now. Let's say I search for the word marketing, okay? If I search for the word marketing because I'm interested in learning marketing, it gets in the United States 110,000 searches a month. All right. But on Google, There's 25 billion, not million, a billion with the B, articles around marketing. Think about that. 110,000 searches in the US, 25 billion articles in English, that are potential for the US. Do we really need that much content around the word marketing? And if I look at it, the first article is marketing definition. The second article from AMA is what is marketing? The third one is Wikipedia that breaks down what is marketing. The fourth one is HubSpot. What is marketing and what is its purpose? The next one is learn what marketing is, how it's used. The next one, what is marketing? Definition, benefits, strategies. Next one, what is marketing? The next one, what is marketing? The last one from Entrepreneur, this is on page 1, marketing news and topics. Like literally, they're all discussing the same exact thing. What is marketing, right? Or going over a basic overview of marketing. Like content's just being regurgitated. So if you want to do well these days, you got to create unique new content that stands out. You can't just repeat what everyone else is doing. You got to do something that's new and special. And if you can't, I don't know what the real point of creating content is. At that point, just, let someone read the regurgitated content that someone else has.
Yeah, exactly. When you say like something that stand out, can you give like some example on like what could it be, or how you could like identify yourself, what it could be for me, or like some examples on what for example you are doing that is like unique in a way?
Sure. There was this site, I don't know if it still exists, called Animagraphs, and they would have an article that's like how a gun works. And they did a visual image, like an infographic, but it was animated. And you can actually see like putting in a bullet, the gun, clocking. I don't know how to use a gun, but like clocking, pulling a trigger, what happens and how the bullet comes out. They even had a similar type of image on how fast does a cheetah run. And they would show you the cheetah running, the speed, comparison to other animals. And it was just animated. It was visual, but it was animated. It wasn't a video. Think of like a big animated GIF. And I looked at that. I was like, this is getting me what I'm looking for in a much easier way. Like if I was interested in learning how a gun works, it's giving me that information to consume in a really easy to way. And it was unique. No one else had information like that. And when that article went out, it got over 1 million views. Think about that. People talked about guns for ages and people talked about cheetahs for ages, but they showed it in a unique way.
Yeah. Great example there. And you mentioned actually earlier already that like the one one of the biggest problems like companies and people are having is the fact that they don't have the patience to like wait for the results. And I think this was one of your tweet as well. A key ingredient in marketing is time. No matter what you do, it just takes time. So be patient. So when we are thinking about like SEO, like when you should be waiting for the result, is it like 6 months, 12 months, or like when do you typically like hit big?
You'll see traction within the first 12 months, of course, but
Yeah,
you need to be doing it for years. And just don't look at when you see results, just measure it by traction. If you're
yeah,
getting traction and things are moving in the right direction quarter over quarter, keep doing it. You just have to be patient. Sometimes Google doesn't, rank a site right away, and there's not much you can do, but it generates revenue. Businesses that are built off of it. You just have to be patient. And that's what separates the winners from the losers. The winners are patient, whether it takes 6 months or a year or 2 years, they're just patient.
yeah, exactly. What if we look at, for example, like from like marketers' perspective? So you are working in a company, and you like yourself, you understand that hey, we should be putting money and time for SEO. And then at the same time, you might be seeing like some kind of results from there, but then at the same time, you are not getting like all the money back that you are investing there. And you should like answer your CEO that, hey, like how is this investment coming back to
Yeah.
us? So how would you go on that one?
So the way I look at it is I show what competitors are doing SEO and you try to estimate their ROI. And you can look at the cost per click and how much money you're spending on paid ads. And if you stop the next day, how you get zero. And what I like doing with SEO is at the early stages, I like showing how we're moving up in rankings and showing the right direction. You can't measure the ROI directly, but then what I
Yeah.
like doing is as you're going in rankings, be like, look, we're on page 2. The moment we get to page 1, here's what we can expect. The moment we get to top 3, here's what we can expect. Top 1, here's what we can expect. So you're showing the potential ROI. And then of course, once you start getting traffic and you're seeing ROI, then you just measure it from that point of view.
Yeah, sounds good, and I think that is like quite easy for people to understand. So even though I'm not a marketer, I'm a sales guy. Of course, I'm I'm selling marketing services, so I understand a bit on those ones. But still, I think, for example, like comparing how much money we are doing for paid acquisition right now
Yeah.
and how much we could be saving on that side if we would be like the number 1 or number 2 on the Google. So it's for sure something that is easy for like CEOs to understand as well, for sure.
Yep. No, I agree with you.
Right. But hey, then like one thing you mentioned when you explained like in the beginning like what SEO really is about. There was things about like backlinks and like other things as well, like beside the content only. Uh, but then at the same time, I think SEO shouldn't be like only about optimizing your site for Google, but
No,
like really for the end
it,
user. So how do you think like the balancing between these two here? So having everything like technically on place and then like having everything perfect for the users as well.
well, the technical shouldn't affect your user experience. The link shouldn't affect your user experience. The content, that's the biggest one. People tend to create content for search engines instead of creating content for users.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever Googled like for a term like dog food or cars or anything and be like, yeah, this site that's number 1 is the best site. It has a million links. It deserves to be at top. As a user, you don't care. You're just Googling like, did it solve my problem? Did it answer it? If it did, great. If not, then you move on to the next result. And that's what you need to think about because that's where Google is shifting. Google is ranking sites based on user signals. User signals are based on things um, like did someone come to your website, hit the back button and go on to the next one because they weren't finding what they're looking for? Or
Yeah.
did someone go to your website and it just takes forever to load, so they go back and they go somewhere else? These are all things that you need to optimize for. No one wants slow loading websites. People want fast user experiences. They want to find their problem as quick as possible. They don't want a solution to their problem as quick as possible. They don't want to end up reading 5,000 words to find the answer when they could have just read one paragraph.
Yeah, exactly. And when you are like thinking about how to do that one in a best way to make sure that your site is like optimized for the users, what do you think, what are the like best things to do there? Like
It,
is it
it,
to talk
it's
to your customers, check out the data, or like what do you think, what are the best practices over there?
that is the best thing. So I recommend one thing when it comes to optimizing for users is which talk to your customers and ideal customers and figure out how to create the best user experience for them.
Yeah, I really love that one. And like when talking, for example, to our clients, I'm always like giving up information for there to our like marketers. Hey, these are the like pain points that they are having. These are the challenges that they are having. And I think like really narrowing down to your ideal customer profile is also good because, as discussed earlier, there is like so much content out there. So if you are doing that content to everyone, then it's probably not working as well as you would be focusing on, like, for example, one particular part or only.
Yep. No, it, it all comes down to the user and user experience. And I think that's where businesses are heading too, because forget just Google and SEO. If you create a product and service that's optimized for your user and not, just making money, you're going to do better than if you just try to build something to make money or get rankings. It's too short-sighted.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And one thing that has happened is the fact that if we think like how people are using Google, I think there's been a lot of changes, like how we are using Google today, how we were using it like 10 years ago or so. And one of the biggest change over there has been that actually today 62.41% of all Google searches generate 0 clicks. And when I first read this one, I was like why they are even searching if they don't click anything. But then when I was thinking it, well, like, yeah, you will find the answer like before clicking to any
Yeah.
site.
Like, where do you live? What city?
Yeah, I live
What?
in Tampere. It's in Finland.
Okay, so I can't say that city well, and I don't want to butcher it and disrespect you. Uh, but let's say you lived in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah,
You can end up saying, what's the weather in Los Angeles or Los Angeles weather? You don't really care to click on a website. You just want your answer on what's the weather.
yeah,
That's why you're seeing a lot of 0 clicks. Or like a lot of people search for what's 2 + 2, right? I'm oversimplifying it. The answer is 4. You don't need to click on a website to learn that, right? You just want to get your answer right away. And that's the thing that's caused a lot of 0 clicks. But there's a few things to keep in mind. One, there's more people coming online every year and searching, so that increases traffic. Two, even if you're not getting clicks, you're still getting brand exposure, right? Which helps you in the long run. And three, don't worry about what you can't control. Focus on just creating a ton of value, and eventually you'll still get the traffic and you'll do well. It goes back to putting the user first. You may not get it for 2 + 2, but a lot of those queries don't monetize well anyways. You can get it for more of the advanced queries where someone needs to come to your website, and those are the terms that monetize. Yes, you may get less traffic, but the traffic you are getting should convert better, because getting traffic for what's the weather or what is the definition of marketing, you're not going to generate a lot of revenue from those terms and those kind of queries in the first place.
yeah, exactly. But for example, I just tried to Google like what is SEO, and you will get the answer like without clicking to any site. So that is like super interesting. And at the same time, one thing I read from you before this conversation was about like SEO is really turning into a question and answer game. So has it been that one like before? Or has it been more like previous we were looking like marketing, and now we are like searching what is marketing, or like what do you mean by this kind of change?
Think of Quora. People are searching because they have problems or they have curiosity and they're looking for a solution to their problem or an answer to their curiosity. And if you look at sites like Quora, they get a ton of traffic. It really is just question and answers. The amount of question queries that people are searching for are going up. Over the last year, we've been seeing it go up. So if you end up typing and searching for or you create content around question related queries, you'll get traffic. And we really do believe SEO is turning into a question and answers game. And it's not about writing really, really long, in-depth content. It's more about writing content that answers the question as quick as possible, but that's thorough. And if you can do that in 100 words, great. You only need 100 words. If it takes 1,000 words, then that's fine. It takes 1,000 words. And if it takes 5,000 words, that's fine as well. But don't add fluff. People just want the answer to their question as quick as possible.
Yeah, and about that one, if for example, let's say that we are thinking about the SEO, like people are googling what is SEO, and there is like a lot of answers to that one. But how you should be identifying like what are the best questions for you? Because if for example we are thinking about your agency, yeah, for sure, like SEO is important, but probably like just a tiny part of people who are googling like what is SEO are probably like great fit clients for you at this moment. So how should you go like identifying like what are the questions that you should be answering for?
Sure. So I have a marketing tool called Ubersuggest that you can use for free. You can type in any query related to your industry, whether it's SEO or dogs or cats or phones. And in the keyword ideas, there's a report called Keyword Ideas where it tells you other keywords you can check out. There's
Yeah,
actually a tab in there that's called questions. So you can actually see all the popular questions in your industry and create content around that.
that's a great tip, and I think like really like narrowing down on that one as well is important, and like really figuring out what are the kind of the most common ones, but then at the same time like what are the special ones that you can really help with your company. So great tip. you mentioned earlier when we're discussing like what SEO is, like the links and the backlinks are like important part of that one, and it really depends if you have backlink in some like high authority site or just some like a random blog or so. So how should you go about finding those places? Of course, like if you have some great content, people hopefully will be linking to that one. But like if you would have a like company that you will be starting to work with, and like one of the things that you are working with is getting those backlinks, like where would you start and how would you like build up the process on making sure that you have a lot of those in the future?
So I would go back to Uber Suggest, and you can do this for free. There's a link intersect tool within there. So you can put in, when you go into the backlink section, you can end up putting in your URL or competitor's URL, and it shows you all the people that link to your competitors that don't link to you, and it sorts
Yeah.
them by authority. And then you can reach out to those people and tell them how you have similar content and how you're different and which parts of your content are better and why they should link out to you. And I would literally then go plug those websites into hunter.io so you can find everyone's email address. And I would just start emailing everyone with customized emails. You may send out hundreds of emails and you may only get a handful of links, but that's okay. It's a numbers game. And that's how I'd find link opportunities. To me, that is the best way and most effective.
Yeah,
Because
great.
if someone
And
links to 3 of your competitors but not you, the chances are they'll be willing to link to you as well because they're linking to other sites in your space.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's like super actionable tip that everyone can do like super quickly. Well, one thing that I would like to dig a little bit deeper on that one is the fact that, like what kind of email you should be sending. Of course, there might be some like easy wins who are like you just send a hey, I have this blog post that would be like valuable for you. But for example, in our case, I'm getting like all the contact requests from our website to my email, and there is like a lot of people asking for backlinks, and like most of the messages they're not good. They are like
Yeah,
copy
they're
paste
spam.
kind of messages, super spammy. So what do you think? What kind of message you should be doing in order to like get the attention, make sure that they would be more willing to link you?
So let's say I have a yoga website and my competitors are other yoga websites. And there's this guy named John who has a health website and he's linking to some yoga websites. So I would send John an email. Hey, John, I noticed you link to X, Y, and Z websites that break down, 11 tips on doing advanced yoga tactics. The issue that I found with this is most of the people who are looking to do more advanced yoga tactics aren't really advanced yoga yogis. They are just learning the basics, but they
Yeah.
want to do advanced poses. I want you to check out this article because it breaks down 51 ways beginners can use advanced yoga tactics successfully. And I think your audience will love this because it breaks it down step by step, and it even includes the animated images on each pose, as well as video tutorials. So then that way they can get the most out of it and make sure they're doing it correctly, especially during times like COVID where they may not be able to go in person to a gym. Check it out. If you love it, feel free to link to it. So that's super customized. And those are the type of emails that you want to end up sending out. Now, I made it up off the top of my head right now, so I don't know if they're called yogis, but I think you guys get
Yeah, and I think great tip. And if I think like all the emails I'm getting to regarding links or like regarding anything else, basically what I think that happens in my mind is like two things. This email is either wrote to me or this is a spam email. There's like nothing between of those ones. And I think if you can get the reaction that hey, this is done just for me, I think you are a long way there already.
Yep.
But hey, then a question that I both love this question and at the same time I hate asking this question because we discussed earlier about like how you should be patient on things. But then at the same time I think that there is always some kind of quick wins on like when doing things. So what do you think? What are your best 3 quick wins for SEO?
Number one, host your site on a CDN. So like you'll have web hosting and you can use a lot of amazing hosts like the Bluehost of the world, DreamHost of the world, WP Engine, pick whatever you want, right? But let's say you pick DreamHost because they're really affordable and they're good. And when you use them, a lot of solutions have CDNs as well. So you can plug in with like Max CDN or Cloudflare. But what I like doing is taking my non-static files and putting them on a CDN, which reduce your hosting bills, but your website will load way, way faster. And that'll improve the user experience, which then helps with SEO. The
Yeah,
third thing that I do,
and for
go ahead.
people who don't know what CDN is, what is that for?
It's a content delivery network. So like, let's say if you're coming to my website from Finland, even though my website is hosted in America or United States, it'll take my website and duplicate it and put it in a server in Europe or in Finland. Exactly. So that way it's quicker, right? So that way you don't have to ping a server all the way in the United States. So it's a quicker loading for you.
Yeah.
The second thing that I would end up recommending for a quick win is cross-linking. If you have an article on SEO and you talk about link building, link to your link building article, right? It'll help that one rank higher. And people don't do that. And I even like linking in my sidebar to my most popular posts. That really helps with boosting the rankings. That's quick and easy. And then the third quick win that I do is I update my content. Remember how we talked about there's over 1 billion blogs? Google wants to rank fresh, updated content. So what I like doing is, every 6 months I go into my older pieces of content and I just make sure they're up to date and they're fresh, whether I have to update images or videos, delete a paragraph or two, or add 3-4 paragraphs, whatever I need to do to make sure it's still relevant and up to date. So it ensures that you keep getting that SEO traffic. Those are 3 quick wins that anyone can do.
Great tips and like super actionable that you can do straight away. So great. But hey, then lastly, in all of my interviews, I have a section where I have a question from my previous guest to you, and then you have the chance to ask question to my next guest. And on my previous episode, I got Tyler Lessard from Vidyard joining me. Tyler is a VP of marketing over there. And his question for you was what are your top tips on personal brand building on social media?
1, post unique content that other people aren't posting, so don't regurgitate. 2, keep testing. What works today may not work tomorrow, so you got to keep testing different content formats. Like I've been doing a lot of reels recently on Instagram. 3, do collaborations with other people. So example of this is you have Instagram, I have Instagram. We can be going live on Instagram together or LinkedIn together, and it'll help both our audiences see it and we can grow together. The 4th thing that I like doing is being consistent. You got to post daily. If you don't post daily, you won't do as well. The 5th thing is you got to respond to comments. That way you're building that personal connection. You're not going to build that personal brand unless you're willing to build a personal connection with people. So you got to really respond to comments. And last but not least, truly care about other people. If you don't truly care about your followers and other people on social media, then what's the point of being on there? Don't just be on there because you want to make money or gain some followers. Truly care about people on there and try to help them out.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the name, like social media, so it's really about like being social, being nice, and like I think that's a great like start on your personal brand. And lastly, my next guest will be Kaylee Edmondson. Kaylee is a director of demand generation at Chili Piper. So what do you think? What I should be asking from Kaylee?
Out of all the demand generation tactics that you use, what one provides the quickest results with spending the least amount of money?
That's a great question, and I will be asking that one on the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me, Neil. Thank you for everyone listening. And if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues and share on your social media, tagging me and Neil over there. Thank you very much and have a great week, everyone. Bye bye.